because sometimes being a production design was a bit hectic, but working together was fine. I almost felt it felt like bees working together when just to bring an idea together. That's the beauty of production design, when you have all these bees trying to make this dream or this visual come through.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Department Spotlight, the show where we speak to our friends and colleagues about their experiences in the South African film industry. Today we will be talking about production design, and we will also be talking to two of our friends and colleagues who are in different countries. So it will not just be the South African industry, it will also be the British industry and the Congolese industry. So yeah, we are really excited to get going, so let's get to it.
Hi, I'm Raquel Delgado, a production designer currently in South Africa.
I'm Olivier Mutombe Amiso, production designer currently in Congo.
Hi, I'm Lauren Boy. I'm currently a production designer in London, UK.
Do you guys think that it's important to go to film school to be a production designer? Can you imagine a world where you didn't go to film school and you're still a production designer?
I don't know, it's a bit strange to answer that question because all three of us have been to school, so it's a bit hard to imagine not going. But I actually did recently talk to someone who did drop out of film school, who did study production design, but I think maybe dropped out in the first year. So, and she's doing well for herself as a production designer. So I kind of think, also at the end of the day, I think if you've got the skill for it, if you've got the work ethic, the imagination, and the creativity, I don't necessarily think that going to or not going to film school is going to prevent you from still being a good production designer or doing production design. Because at the end of the day, I think it can be said about any part in a film, whether you are an actor or a cinematographer. I think if you've got the knack for it, if you've got the necessary skill set, then you're fine. You can achieve what you want to do. So I don't necessarily think that you have to study that specific thing.
Lauren's coming from England, Oliver's coming from the Congo, Raquel's in SA. What do you guys think is sort of the difference between each place? If maybe you could talk about your experiences in Congo versus working in SA, England versus SA. What are the different industries like?
The difference between Congo and we don't have a sculpture or a film industry here. They're only starting to get it now. It's like the beginning of it now. Like it's in South Africa, we know what's going on. We know the rules. I felt when I was in first year, they told me that the film industry is like the army. Like everybody has I feel like here everybody just mixes stuff. Like there's no discipline when it comes to just filming. Like you just have an idea and people will be like they'll shoot. But I have not worked on any film stage yet here. Except from this music video that I'm going to be working on. We are not supported. We're not as supported here as South Africa. The South African film industry is supported. We don't have much support here. I think people are only starting to realize it now, and we slowly try getting that change. But it's also from Congolese like me that have had opportunities to study in South Africa to bring those skills back home here and teach people, because not everybody has the opportunity to even travel or have the money to go and study in South Africa. So a lot of people that are coming back and are using those skills even by just doing short films, and it's just bringing together and bringing ideas. And I think it's the youth. It's always the youth that are going to push the country and bring different things, because we believe in being doctors. And so the arts, so the youth here, the people in the arts department, we're trying to bring a change. So it's very new here. It's very, very new.
It's quite funny because I feel like I'm the complete opposite, because I've come into an industry that's so old. And it's so well established, and it was very different, like kind of like jumping into the art department here, because I don't know if I was the only person who felt this, but like especially art department at AFTA felt like it was a bit of a war, because everybody was like, we don't need PD, it's not important, and you're kind of like trying to like fight with that the whole time. And everybody's like, oh, we just care about we have a good cinematographer, we'll be fine. And like all you do is like put a couch up against the wall, and that's enough. And then I got here and I was talking to like a DOP the one day, and I like mentioned what it was like back home, and they were just like, sorry? And it was just, there's a whole different type of respect for art department in this country that I was like, oh, what is this? This is like heaven. I can't get over that. I definitely think it's harder to get into the industry here just because of how many people are already in the industry. And, it's so well saturated. But there's constantly things happening at the same time. So there's always something else you can jump onto or something you can get involved with. But also the teams are a lot bigger here. So, I went on to one set as production designer, and then they were just like, oh, here's your supervising art director. I'm just like, oh, what does a supervising art director do? And they were just like, oh, I just look after the budget. And I'm just like, oh, that's like the worst job. I'm so sorry. And then they've got like all the teams underneath them. And then I had like done so much work, and then the art director came in and they were just like, oh wait, that's part of my job though. You're just supposed to tell me if it's right or not. And I'm just like, what do you want me to do? But it's been quite interesting because I've worked as a production designer, I've worked in the props department, I've worked in set decoration. So I've kind of like jumped between the different departments within the art department. But the only thing I haven't done was construction. But I feel like I did enough of that at AFTA. I'm done putting up flats. Thank you very much. So yeah, I think it's quite different here. Especially, I think it's more flexible in South Africa. Like you can get away with more. You can be like, oh, let's just cheat this, it's fine. But here, everything's more, everything's down to the cent, and every single second's accounted for. So it's a lot more running around making sure everything's perfect. But yeah, and also when you go on like a big set and there's like so many people, I'm just like, oh, what is this? This is crazy. But yeah, so it's quite different. I think I'm learning a lot more than I thought I would.
Lauren said something about where she's working on bigger set now. And then for me, production design, when I used to even work with Lauren, recall on sets or building sets together, it was really fun, because sometimes being a production design was a bit hectic, but working together was fun. I almost felt it felt like bees working together just to bring an idea together. That's the beauty of production design, when you have all these bees trying to make this dream or this visual come through. That's like the experience that she's had, where she has a production design that is responsible for the budget of the production design. That's already cool, because that's something that you don't. It's part of that. Yeah, just try to make that honey. That's how I see production design, and the fact that she's experiencing it is really exciting.
That's cool. Yeah, it really goes into one of the questions I had was about production design myths, like any misconceptions, and I was hoping that someone would actually bring up what I was hoping from that question was that someone would bring up, how much work goes into making something look effortless, which is like the beauty of production design. Like I know that, when I've seen some sort of behind the scenes stuff of a film or something, and then I watch that same film with a friend who maybe isn't necessarily a filmmaker, and then I say to them, oh, that whole thing was built from scratch. That's a whole set. And they're like, what? So yeah, that's crazy. So many people working together, so much hard work and talent to make something just feel completely like it's meant to be there. It's a beautiful thing. That's sweet honey.
Yeah, definitely that's sweet honey. And not going like, sometimes I think we all had as individual had to work on our own things when we were after, especially for our films. But when we had those group projects together, it's fun to go into an environment where you could see Lauren, you could see Ricard, and then Lauren would paint something, Ricard would it's just it's creating that world together. That's the fun part of it also.
Yeah.
Production design.
And I think there's also a really great sense of collaboration with other artists in like who everybody, like when your team just cares about the set and they're just like, we don't care how it's filmed, we don't care what they put the actors in, we just care about what the set looks like. And there's kind of like this really nice sense when you get those people all together. And it's really nice listening to those stories as well. Like, you know, when you watch behind the scenes and they're talking to the production designer and they talk about their massive team and you're just like, oh, that's so sweet. They're like level their people that they've got. And I know one of the art directors that I met, Gary Tompkin, he was talking about when he worked on Harry Potter. Sorry, I feel like I'm name dropping, but I'm really not. And because I just went to a talk that he was at. But anyway, and he was talking about working for Stuart Craig. And he was one of the art directors, and he was like, no, Stuart was really great. And he had so many different art directors. And Gary was just like, oh, the only thing I worked on was like Hogwarts Castle. But, you know, there were other art directors who like concentrated on the different things. And he was like, so I was nothing on them. And I was like, you designed the castle, dude. Like, come on. What are you talking about? But they were all just saying, oh, but I wouldn't have been able to do it with this guy. And, you know, if this guy wasn't a part of it, then who knows what it would have looked like. So it's really like this really nice sense of community between them all. And and you see that when you look at like the different art department and like production design guilds across the world, that they're also really nice and supportive of one another. I'm sure the other departments are as well, but you know, it's obviously the production designers I care about. So it is all the little bees making honey together.
Oh, awesome. So thank you so much, Lauren, Oliver, and Raquel, for your awesome insights into production design. If you enjoyed that little extract from our conversation, remember that you can listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Link is in the description. So we release new videos every Tuesday and every Friday with a new short film on the first Friday of every month. Consider hitting the subscribe button. It's free. Also, maybe leave us a like and a comment telling us what you'd like to see from us next. And until next time, stay inside and make your movie.